Hey, bless up, bless up. What's going on? Happy Monday to you. Happy Monday. Hope y'all doing well. We're here on this nice, steamy Monday afternoon, and so far, so good over here on this part. The homestead. Got up this morning, took care of a few things, needed things, and I met a new friend today as I was going about my routes and doing what I need to do. I met a new friend where I was handling a little business. She recognized me from YouTube. And so shout out to you, my friend. Shout out to you. And I hope everything is well. And if you're catching the replay, I appreciate it because I know you're at work right now. But I want to have a conversation. And can y'all please give me a thumbs up? Let me know. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me and see me. If it's good, tell me it's good. And I'm going to look to the chat. Let's see. What's up, Kathy B? What's going on? Got some T's in the chat. Put some T's in the chat. If you're thankful, put some T's in the chat. If you can hear me and see me, give me a thumbs up. Give me that big thumbs up. What's going on, D Jackson? Good afternoon to you, D Jackson, depending on where you are, but good afternoon. Kathy B, hope you're doing well too. At the same time, go and put some T's in the chat. D Jackson is definitely thankful. We see D Jackson thankful. Kathy B got some thumbs up. Thank you, Miss Kathy B. Hope everything's going well for you all. And I hope your day is prosperous so far. We're off to a great new week. This week, I'm going to be doing some series of lives, series of videos. And these videos are primarily stemming from my community chat. My community chat, I've been kind of having these polls and having a lot of different conversations and through comments and through a lot of different things. So now we're taking all of this information that we've been gathering from the community chat, and then we're going to kind of transpose this into some of our live discussion. And we're going to go, I'm going to attempt to go live a few more often during the week. And I might try different slots just to see how well they go. Right now, due to our schedule, due to a lot of different things going on, we're having difficulty trying to isolate a certain time, certain date. And so we may be doing more of those pop-up lives, and I hope you all be patient with me. I appreciate y'all coming in, appreciate you showing love, and I appreciate your support too as well. But today I want to have a conversation. I want to ask you, what do you really want? And when I say, what do you really want? I'm going to follow up with the question then, what's holding you back? I've been getting a lot of responses about if, or I wish, or when, or maybe. And my question is, the things that you want right now, are you working towards them? Are you aiming towards them? Are you positioning yourself to come into the light of those things, to have those things to actually come to fruition? Where are you right now with the things that you want? If you would put it in the chat. I'm going to start off by saying, right now, man, I used to want a lot of stuff. I used to want a lot of things, and I realized a lot of the things that I really wanted was more materialistic than the other things, because sometimes your focus and your drive is much more on different things at different stages of your life. And right now, as I would like to say, I'm at the halfway point, possibility 3/4. If the Creator allows me to continue to bless this place, one of the things that I want, and I'll share with you other things. One of the things that I want is I want sustainability on the homestead. I want a sustainable lifestyle where I can support, if I needed to, my kids, my wife, myself, and every responsibility that I have right here. I would like to have that here. So that's one of the things I would like to do. One of my goals, one of the things I'm working for. Hence, this is a part of some of me giving more content, going through more content, and diversifying some of the things that I do. I'm definitely working actively on some other projects. Definitely my book. I'm working on another book where it's going to be dealing with land ownership. That's another thing that I want to do. Complete that book. I definitely plan to do that before next month, my birth date month. I plan to definitely complete those things. And my question is to you in the chat, what do you want? What are some of the things that you want? Whether they're tangible, physical, spiritual, or just some of your goals. Share with me in the chat some of the things you want, and then let's have a discussion about those things, because I find a lot of people, we have commonality about the things that we want in life. You know, if you asked me back in 2020, one of the things that I wanted was some land, some space. I wanted to, and it's pretty clear. If you look at the channel, it's pretty clear the things I wanted. I wanted land, I wanted space, I wanted a homestead, I wanted to be more self-sufficient. I wanted to not be so caught up in the rat race. I wanted a place where I could be, if I wanted to be by myself, left alone, I could easily do that. I wanted a place where I could share with friends and family. And I wanted a homestead. I wanted something out, and I wanted to turn loose my 9 to 5. I definitely didn't like the fact of being controlled every day. I didn't like the fact of going to a meeting when I didn't feel like going to a meeting. That it's not that I didn't want to learn, didn't want to grow, but we would have simple things like, here we got a virtual meeting. And this really bothered me after 2020. We were operational, able to do what we need to do. We had virtual meetings, we had physical meetings. We did do physical meetings. And yes, I did get that thing when we went out too early. I felt like we went out too early, but I understand we still had to go out at some period of time. And one of the first events that I put together with my business, with my job, I got that, whatever you want to call it. And it hit me like a ton of bricks, but I had to go amongst the masses because of my job and because of what it entailed and what I had to do. We put together events, and we did organizations, and we did community meetings and a lot of different things like that. And I just think about, I did a lot of different things for my job that my job wanted. My job wanted all of me. And although for a job, it was a great job. If I had to work a job, I would take a job like that again. One thing I did not like was the control of my time. It was proven fact that I could be productive and even be more productive without sometimes physically being there, without sometimes having to be in a closed-in meeting. You know, there's value in having a meeting. There's value in the seeing face-to-face, eye-to-eye. But if I'm in a virtual training and I'm on my laptop and I'm in my office and I'm not, because people were still sick, and they still sick in these closed environments. People don't talk about it. But here it was where I had to go to a meeting within a meeting. And let me explain to you what I mean by that. These are the things that really got on my nerve about what I was doing. We would have a virtual meeting, or half of the staff that we have a meeting with, they virtual. Then you got to go in with another 20 people, 16 people, and sit in a meeting while we have a virtual meeting. Some stuff made sense and some stuff did make sense. I want to have the versatility to be able to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it, when it came to different things like that. I didn't want to ask for permission to go for a walk or to go to use the bathroom, even though I didn't have to, but there were expectancies, being on a conference call, walking while you're on the conference call, being in training, virtual training, where it dealt with just listening, or sitting in on meetings, public meetings, where it dealt with just listening and absorbing those listeners, and you go for a private walk, or you just get up and just go down the hall and you listen to those meetings. It was expected that you sat there at your desk or at the conference room and you listen to them. And I like the flexibility when I'm on my own, that I can get up and I can go for a walk at any time. I don't have to be in a long, lengthy conversation about nothing just to make people feel warm and cozy about me. I like the fact of that if I wanted to cook something to eat for lunch, if I wanted to make a salad or do whatever I needed to, I like the fact here I can go in my kitchen, in my environment, know my hands are clean, know everything is clean, know I won't get sick, know I won't have to put it in a used microwave by hundreds of people. Know when I sat on the toilet, I didn't have to kind of do squats. Every time I go in the bathroom, I had to smell sickness or someone. I didn't like those things. I didn't like those little small things. But they were major. They was a part of everyday life. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like the fact of not having comfortable to my liking seating or going through a long ritual of applications and submissions just to get basic stuff done. The approval to do this, to do that, to do this, to do that. I like the fact of if I need to go and purchase something for my business, I can get up and just go purchase it. And it's just one of those things where, to me, I've done it for so long and I worked so hard with being agreeable that I wasn't really happy. And so now, one of my goals, as I said, is to be here, to maintain off this land, to work my area, my local area, not having to travel 5 and 6 and 7 hours just to do a job, but I can travel within 5 to 10 minutes and get and be just as productive and actually be self-sustaining. So those are some of the things that I like. Let me go here. Let me go here in the chat. Hey, Grammys John. You know what? I think you went live not too long ago. I just checked out. I think I'm new to your channel, but I just checked out your live. If I got the right person, I think I just checked out your live. You had some guests on. If I'm not, let me know if I'm right. I might be on the wrong channel, but I think it was yours. So Kathy B says, let's see. Subdividing our land, getting septic and water tank on the land in Arizona, paying off debt, retirement, and traveling. Man, that's a robust list, Kathy B. And I love it. I love it because it's so obtainable. It's so doable. Excuse me. So doable. So let's talk about subdividing your land. So that means you got quite a bit of land. You got maybe some acreage or something, and then you're talking about subdividing for whatever reason you want to subdivide it. That's approval process. I want people to understand some of these things that Kathy B is requesting. It's not just a turnkey. This is a major wish list. You know, subdivide. She didn't say rezoning, which is another thing that would add more time. But subdividing the land. Sometimes land is co-shared by different family members. Sometimes you have multiple people that have to agree on this. It can be a long process. And getting septic, the price of infrastructure is going through the roof, fam. That's why I'm like, please, 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 because you got to understand. I don't know if y'all been reading articles, but more and more Gen Xers, Generation X, which is my group, we're not big, we're not abundant, but we are a number. More of us are going and selling it all and going in more rural environments. More and more of us. And typically, with whatever generation, the generation just before them and the generation after them, it would trickle over, it would spill away over too as well. So we're watching some of people in my group who are hanging it up, walking away trying to do early retirement. And what I mean, what retirement means to me may not mean the same thing to you. Retirement doesn't mean that I don't work, I don't do anything, I don't do nothing but sit in a rocking chair and rock my bones away. In my retirement, I'm very active at doing what I want to do at the times I want to do. It does not mean I can control all of my time, because we have to live in a space where we live with our loved ones. We live by some of our obligations and some of the things that we need. So, but my goal would be to isolate as much time into controlling more of my time versus only having 3 to 4 hours of the day, because that's what it looked like for me when I worked 8-hour job. My commute was about 4 hours a day, not counting sometimes when I was at work, I had to drive. I was on the road a lot. Then you got lunches. So an 8-hour turned into 9 hours just working, because lunches is not the lunch you really want. You're in a hurry, you're trying to get there, get back, do whatever you need to do. And then, like I said, the commute, not counting getting ready, not counting getting home, unwinding. As you can see, a lot of that time, and if you add sleep on there, if you add any errands or anything you need to do, that's the bulk of my day. The bulk of my day was doing everything, basically what I had to do over what I wanted to do. So that's why I'm so dogmatic on trying to fight and trying to keep the hold on to controlling more of my time. Water tank, a water tank can be quite an investment. Depends on how much land you have, or you might need multiple water tanks. You might need a whole area. Depends on how much rain you get. I thought that Florida, where I am, gets a lot of rain, which it does. But one thing I learned about containment and water catchment that I realized didn't work for my lifestyle is that if you got animals, you got humans, you got gardening, there are times we don't get enough rain to do encatchment, to do enclosures, unless I had multiple enclosures and an enclosure system throughout the land. And then I start weighing how will I pump the water out? Do I need to build structures on them? What do I need to do? And by the time I sat down and added everything up, it was more feasible for me to dig a well. Now, that may not be true for some people. I like the idea of some people who say, I might have a lot of land, but I'm only going to live on just a small portion of the land. It's less responsibility. The smaller the land is, the less responsibility as far as maintaining and keep everything going and alive. If you got a fruit tree on one end of 2 acres and you got another fruit tree that need more water on the other end of the 2 acres, and you got water somewhere in between, you still got to either transport that water, you got to put in the infrastructure, the piping, or you're going to have to do those encatchment systems. And when you have sometimes, like we've had over a month with no rain, and then all of a sudden a bunch of rain, then it overturns, overspills what we have, it just a back and forth. It's a lot of maintenance. And so what Kathy B is asking for is quite a project, and it doesn't end, to maintain it and keep it. And then she says in Arizona, oh Lord, I look at the heat that we have. I look at the intensity of I think Arizona is more dry, but we have humidity, and humidity is a beast. And then I look at also, a lot of people don't think about when it get cold, it can get cold in Arizona too, as well. So just keeping those highs and those lows and keeping a good balance. And one thing I've noticed is the older that I've gotten, the less intolerant of heat. I love heat. I spent most of my life, most of these years I've been here in heat, but now I'm noticing heat really challenges me physically. And I'm having to adjust it. I don't want to give up the heat, but it's really. Then we got retirement, traveling. And that retirement, I know she separated paying off debt and retirement, and then traveling. Retirement, I think, is kind of aligned with what I'm talking about, managing your own time rather than be managed. Paying off debt, that's so important, and traveling. And then when you put all those pieces together, the question is, what's holding you back? What's holding you back? And the poll that this conversation comes from is my last poll that I had. And if you want to check it out on my community, because I was shocked that an overwhelming out of 303 at the time votes that I looked at on this poll, that the top item was money over having a need, over having been needed, over being what it was. I had a list of different things and I had my phone to kind of go over it, but money overwhelmed everything. And most people that we're going to take a look at, they're going to probably say it's money. But money is so important and so critical, but having a sense of being wanted, being needed, being connected, we're losing more and more because of this society and the way this country was built, that we put so much preference on money that I don't know if we really enjoy the journey, and I don't know if we're in a hurry to get to the journey because we let money come before our destination. Good Eats, how you doing? How you doing to you? Good afternoon to you. Let's see, do we have anybody else? No, I haven't went live yet. I'm I'm scared to catch it's another channel that I was looking at. It's a new channel to me today. It's not new. I think she said she's been up for a couple of months. But don't be afraid. I'm still fumbling and bumbling, and look, I've been going live now since 2020. Well, maybe 2021 or somewhere around it. I think I went live my first year that I started. I seriously got started as a lot of YouTube content creators in 2020. I had YouTube channels, but I never really looked at it seriously. I had fascination with cars. I had a car channel. I was a photographer. I did a lot of photography. I had a photography channel and some other businesses where I just dropped some videos every now and then, but I never looked at it as a content creator profession. Never looked at it as developing and growing a community. But 2020 and my beautiful wife, Gigi, she enlightened me of the possibilities and how realistic it could be. And when she did that, I said I would give it 5 years. And next year, around May, would be my year 5 for YouTube. And the reason why I said 5 years is because whatever you do, if you want to make it self-sustainable, if you want to consider this being realistic, like a business or anything else, your goals and your dreams, give it at least 5 years. And I said I was going to be committed and I'm going to be continuous and I'm going to drop content for 5 years. And then I'm going to make the evaluation after 5 years to be like, is this really worth my time? Do I see value in this? And do I want to continue to proceed? So you can do it. I know you can do it. It's going to be weird looking at a screen. Just what I like to do, and this is just for me, I wouldn't script it so much. I would just look at topics and then just hit those topic points and start out with something you know, and start off like I did. When I first started, I would go live for 5, 3, 4 minutes. I'd be like, get ready, this is the shortest live you're gonna get. It's about the shortest live you're gonna see. And I would start out with 4 and 5 and 6 minutes, and OMG, if I went 20 minutes, oh man, I was like riding out, I was killing it. And if you go back and look at them, they're still there. Those lives was, I mean, no different now. I mean, I think I've grown somewhat because the length of it is a lot longer, and people come in, there's more people that come in. So yeah, I know you can do it. Go ahead and just set the time and then put it in there and then just go ahead and jump in. You know what I'm saying? You got it. You got it. And if you want to share it, you can go ahead and share it out. My email is in there too. And you know, hey, I'm here for you if you want to do it. No need being scared. No need to be afraid. What's up, family, man? Good to see you this afternoon. Good to see you. Safe travels. You be safe out there on the roads. Stay focused. And thank you for listening in. Thank you for listening in. Got to be facts. Wanda, how you doing? Hello to everyone in the chat and in the bushes. So what we're talking about is, what do you really want? We're having a true conversation, and I want to kind of just take a look at some of the things you want. And I've already expressed some of the things I want, and I continue to express some more things that I want. And we're just having a conversation because the goal here for this video is to put it out on the table, speak it into existence, and then not only ask for it, not only speak it into existence, but let's just talk about it. Let's just start planning to position ourselves, to empower ourselves to go ahead and go after some of the things that you want. The goal is let's encourage each other to go after the things that you really want. Because the only thing that is holding yourself from you obtaining the things that you really want, a lot of us think it is money, we think it is time, we're doing this, we're saying that, but it's you. It starts within. There's no way you can start saving or building to be a millionaire if you don't start from day one with working from $1 to 1 cent to $5 to $100. You got to start somewhere. And we got a beautiful community here. We're going to encourage you. We're going to ask you to keep pushing through. And then we might even share some strategies because we got some phenomenal people that's always in the chat, that's very supportive of the chat. And you'll see their name come up and you'll see them encouraging you. You'll see them speaking to you. And some of them got some great ideas. And even if you don't go directly with these ideas, maybe it can stimulate some creativity in your brain for you to move forward, for you to push on. Now, I got somebody right here. We got Morgan. Okay, Morgan. What's going on, Morgan? Good to see you this afternoon. Morgan Alexandria. I love that name, Alexandria. One of my baby girls' middle name is Alexandria. Death and the fear of not knowing. Ooh, MG. See, that came from one of my posts, polls, having those fears. And that last post, y'all take a look at that last community post, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about what are some of your biggest fears. And we just put this being broke at such a high standard. And the sad part about it, if you think about this, let's talk about spending more time with your family. It costs money. Watch this, how we can tie money into everything. Spending more time with your family costs money. Eating better costs money. Going on vacation costs money. Retirement costs money. Healthcare costs money. Provide great education costs money. Getting to point A to point B costs money. Having to spoil your companion costs money. Doing more dating, doing more activities. Everything that we talk about, it deals with money. And what I want to challenge you is to think about some of those things that don't cost money, but maybe cost time. Because what's more valuable than money is your time. What's more valuable than money is your companionship. What's more valuable than money is your listening ears. What's more valuable than your money is your attention. What's more valuable than your money is your creativity and your ideas and your vision. Because we're going to go through this and we're going to share it, but I want y'all to keep telling me what you want. Come on, keep pouring it out. I just got out of credit card debt earlier this year, working towards being more financially free. Financially free means no longer being obligated, no longer having this above your head. That financial freedom is great. But now my question is, Morgan, once you become financially free, will that make you happy? Will that provide you joy? Now, let me reverse that. Even if you're in debt, can you be happy? Even if you're in debt, can you have joy? And some people say, well, there's happiness, there's joy. I get all of that. But money does this. Our finances do this a lot of times. Some of us are blessed where our finances do this. Some of us have the right timing, have the right experience, the right support system, the right intellectual stability and community. Some of us have this continuum of upward growth when it comes to finance. But the majority of us The majority of us, it's almost like this. You can have dreams about being Scottie Pippen, or I'm talking about the ability, or Tiger Woods and this and that. And we could practice and we could practice. There's no question will you get better than the average. Yes, you'll get better than the average. So, but the majority of us, due to the only limitation of um, certain exposure to certain things, the majority of us will have these ups and downs and pits and valleys when it comes to our financial stability. And what I want us to do is hold on to who we are. Hold on to not allowing our financial to decide whether we're successful, whether we're intellectual, whether we're at peace, whether we have joy, whether we still can dream, whether we can still be creative. Because I'm telling you, if you look at the world and you look at all this feeding of information and data, there's people who can't find happiness and freedom without money. And if you can't find happiness and freedom, if you have a lack of money, that leads you into a bad, bad depression. And it also can ultimately cost you either your health or even something worse, your life. And it should not be so, because money does this. Money cannot survive without flowing. It's like a river. Money has to move. And once you start loving it so much, you don't want to let it go. And then you realize by not letting it go, not letting it work for you, you end up losing what you had when you think you're keeping it safe. So awesome. I thank you for sharing that, Morgan. I think that's a great goal. I think that's something definitely. And then what you can do, you can have shift your focus on something else. That could be a great focus. Growing What I Eat, what's going on? What's going on, Growing What I Eat? Bless up to you. Bless up to you, my brother. Eco Nation, he's a part of Eco Nation. Everybody speaking with everybody. You're right. That's the point right there, Kathy B. It's a high priority. You look at that community poll, you got 45%. I think the next thing is 22%. That's a big gap. That's a big gap. The majority of the voters said money, money, money. The most depressing, the most scariest thing right now in this nation, in this great America, is being broke. But they say we're one of the wealthiest countries. But that's a big fear. To me, that's kind of like an oxymoron. I'm amongst abundance, and there's abundance all around me, and I'm in the right place, right time, but it's my biggest fear. But from us at a young age, we watch, we listen to music, we watch TV, videos, nursery rhymes, all of that, and it's teaching us all the way from at a young age. Like I said, you remember I always shared this with you all. Why in the world did I want a Flintstone? Why in the world did I want a Coco Flintstone? You know, when you think about it, I didn't want Frosted Flakes. I didn't want Corn Flakes. I didn't want Mini Wheats. I wanted something I never had, but I knew it was good. Something that I didn't even know whether it was healthy for me or not. When I was growing up, they taught me that this cereal was healthy. It was healthy. It was part of everyday nutrition. Was it the cereal, or was it the milk in the cereal? Or was it the milk? Or was it me getting up, being active? Was it the sugar rush where I got up and got active and got moving? You know, it's one of those things where the dyes, the chemicals, all of that, here I am craving and wanting something that I even would persuade others who had money, adults, to buy this for me, and telling them about it was healthy. Look on the side of the box. Look at the bottom of its logo right here. And sometimes we just spend all of our energy just want, and going after things. And my question is is it really good for us? Some of the stuff we really want. And this country is founded on people came into this country, organized this country based on wealth, gaining wealth, opportunity, and being able to build it up from the ground all the way up. And at any cost, it don't matter what's the cost, whether it's a life, whether it's death or whatever, go get it. And then from that point on, it just kept continuously all the way up to this day about get it, self, get it, self. Most of the values and the morals about community and all that came from other countries and was a melting pot and was a part of where they came from. But once they got baptized and indoctrinated into the foundation of how we built is go after money. And nothing wrong with money. We need it. Like I say, almost everything costs. How can you not do it? But my question is, what do you really want though? Is it money you really want? Is it an item you really want? Is it freedom you really want? Is it to be enough time to be creative? Is it to reduce distractions in your life? Is it, put in the chat what you really want. Is it to go and come freely? Is it to be self-sustaining? To not have to be connected to so much of this money? And my question is, based on what you want, what's holding you back? What's keeping you back? If I want a Maybach, or if I want a Bentley, or if I want a 7-bedroom house, what's holding me back from getting that 7-bedroom house? You know, what would be the big proponent to keep me from getting a 7-bedroom house? There's various ways I can get a 7-bedroom house. Me, at my age, knowing what I want to do, I can get there a whole lot faster than most people. The reason why I know I can get there right now, let's go through a plan. Just say I want a 7-bedroom house. Let's come with me. Right now, I want to walk away from the homestead. I want a 7-bedroom house. I'm finna give you a plan. If you want a 7-bedroom house, let me give you a plan. Something that Eco would do right now. If that's what I want. If I said, look, I done did this off grid, I done did all of this, and now I want a nice 7-bedroom house. And then I can put an Airbnb to it. So the first step I would do is increase my income. How can I increase my income? And then I would also liquidate my tangible items. Liquidate my tangible items. What does that mean? I'm selling my car, I'm selling my dogs, I'm selling my chicken, I'm selling my sheds, I'm selling my tractor, I'm selling anything that I don't have to get me to the next spot. I'm selling this home, I'm selling the land, I'm selling any other tangible items that I have. I'm selling everything. And then once I sell it, I'm going to come up with a number. That number, just say that number could be 7-bedroom house. Let's first say a 7-bedroom house, and say if I want to stay in Florida, say it's $1.2 million. Just say it's on the coast. 2.5 mil. Let's be easy with it. 2.5 mil on the coast in Florida. 7-bedroom house. Nice views, nice neighborhood, nice everything. Once I sold everything, just say if I came up with $250,000. So now I got $250,000 in cash. $250,000 in cash, just say it took me to liquidate everything 9 months. Took me 9 months to liquidate everything. Meanwhile, while I'm liquidating stuff, I'm buying stuff. I'm buying other items. So I sold my vehicle and say I got XYZ for it. I sold that vehicle. Now I'm going to take that cash and I'm going to find something else that not what I want, not what I like to have, but what I observe other people, what they like, things that they want, things that they working towards. And I want to find something, and I want to find a person. I want to target a person or a company that's in desperate need to get rid of it. I'm looking for wording in ads. I'm looking for desperation for as if I see a certain model of vehicle, or if I see a motorcycle or dirt bike or four-wheeler, or I see a boat. None of this stuff is something I want, but it's something that I know I can easily sell. So I take that money from my car and I invest it in another vehicle or another item. And I know it's high in demand. And I know I can easily sell. And then I find the value of what that item is, and then I get it well below that value. Once I find somebody in desperate need to get rid of it, somebody going through something, divorce, somebody that maybe had a lost one, had death in the family, or somebody who overwhelmed, who got more than what they can handle, or somebody who might be upside down on their payment. I'm finding somebody in a desperate situation, and I'm going to find them, and I'm going to target them, and I'm going to buy it at a low price. And then when I buy it at a low price, I'm going to end up making more money than I made off my first car. And I'm going to take all that $250,000 and I'm going to try to either double it or triple it. And then now, instead of having $250,000, I got $500,000. And I'm going to keep doing the same thing. But now my items can get a little bit more respectable. Now, the opportunities for me to get big transactions and one lump hit transactions, I might buy another house. Say if I buy a house on auction, I buy a house on tax lien, or I buy a home where it may need a little work, great opportunity, great network. But the bottom line, I'm working my way towards the 2.5 million. Now, as you can see, it may take me 5, may take me 10 years to get with that 2.5 million house. You know, I might even have to finance it. I might not come up with the whole thing, but all I need is anywhere from 5%. Well, no, 2.5 million. I probably need 10 to 20% down. All right. So 10% down on 2.5 million is what? 250,000. So that's 10%, $500,000. $500,000 to put down on a $2.5 million house. Is that obtainable? Yeah, it's obtainable. But it requires discipline, time, consistency, research, patience, being intentional. And did I say consistency? And I got to be disciplined and keep going and keep going and keep going. Relentless, focused. I cannot be distracted. And guess what? That time, out of all those things I said, is critical. It's the hinge upon all of that stuff. So you can achieve what you want to achieve. The question is, what do you want? And what's holding you back? See, when I just laid out that whole scenario, I just said, sell everything that I can without being without. You know, compromise and selling my home and not have a home to go to, that was a sacrifice. Stacking the dough up, doubling the dough, building the dough up, building the bread up, that comes with a sacrifice. That comes with patience. That comes with persistence. Being uncomfortable for a short period of time to look long-term at what I want, that's the fundamental pieces. And staying focused and not wavering, that's the fundamental pieces. So when I said in 2020 on a video that I said, I want to sell my home and I want to go out in the country, you watch that it took from the time I pulled the trigger, I think we did it in 2021. It took me about a year to actually do that. And I'm just getting into a home. Here we got 2 years later, 2 years and some months later. So my journey took me 2 years and some months. And the whole time that some of y'all been here from day one, you watched that whole process. And if you didn't watch it throughout the journey, you can go back and see it. But you see that not a lot of resources, not a lot of money, not a lot of time. The job was demanding. Here it was where here I am trying to take care of a full house and a household. How in the world am I going to go buy 20 acres? How low I'm going to clear the land? How in the world am I going to get a truck, get an RV, get a cabin? How in the world am I going to do this with so few resources where I'm just barely paying my bills right now? It comes a time in your life where you have to get tired of being in your current situation. You're going to have to get frustrated with being in your current situation. You're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to give up some stuff. And when you give it up, what's up, sweet thumb? What's going on? Happy Mac, how you doing? How you doing? It come a time, African dreaming, what's going on? What's going on? It come a time where you're going to have to say, I'm fixing to get uncomfortable. I'm fixing to put my comfortability to the side to take some chances. And the more educated I become about my movements and what I'm doing, the less risk that I have. It's called risk mitigation. And then you still got to take risks. So my question is, what do you want and what's holding you back? Because understand this, fam. Once I get something, as well as many humans, you start to have new goals and new ambitions. So this is one chapter checked off. Question is, what's next? What's next in Eco Nation and Eco's world, Eco Neighbor, Eco Neighborhood? What's next? Because once you obtain a goal, once you have a goal, you get it. Now you have to just maintain it, and you still need to keep on having goals because it's all about growth. And if you don't grow, you just sit on your lawn, sit back and say, look what I've done and look what I gained. You become that rich man. And all I'm going to do is just stack it, stack it, stack it. And then you watch yourself rot because you left out relationships. You left out communion. You left out fellowship. You left out serving others. You left out teaching. You left out mentoring. You left out helping, being part of something bigger than you. You left out investing into your kids, and your children. You're leaving all that out because you're so focused on this one-dimensional thing that you pouring everything into that. But the question is, what do you want and what's holding you back? What do you want and what's holding you back? Grammy's Journal said, I need to stay on my own. Health-wise is now in and a part of my life. Ugh. I feel you. I'm right there with you. My body, definitely. I had a rough time this morning, last night. That it reminded me, check yourself, Eco. Reset, Eco. Go back to cleansing, purification, self and spiritual healing. Because you only have this one vessel, and you might think you fit as a fiddle, but it takes one health scale to shake your whole world. And one thing I am learning, with age, it becomes a domino effect. It's kind of like having an old car with 200 and 300,000 miles on it. You know, I'm afraid to fix that leak because something else might tear up. I'm afraid to go ahead and replace that ball joint because the tire might fall off. That's called lifing. And what you do now in your youth is so important. And people always say that. Don't do that. You're going to hurt your back. Don't do this. You're going to strain yourself. All right. You're wearing out your body. You're going to do this. And now I replay it and I'm like, yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. And then the value system reduces down to a fresh pair of Gucci socks, to some bangle chain, earrings, dyed the hair, Jerry curl, you know, Sebagos, some 20-inch rims, some hammer rims, to stereo. And then you watch this other side where you were like, life, freedom, freedom of mind, peace, long life, healthy life, loving family. You watch all that stuff that used to mean something no longer mean nothing, and you transition to looking at things that, whether you got your health or not, if you got your right mind, you can remember those memories, those engagements, and those things. So I feel you. I feel you on that, Granny. Thank you. Thank you for inviting. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. I really appreciate that. Family Man said that's the game of Monopoly, Eco. Yeah, that's in a lot of games. London Bridges falling down. That's the game. That's the game. Period. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's it's simple, but the problem is it's a gap between that. It's called that consistency, persistent, patient, alignment, faith, focus. You know, all of that stuff to fill up that sandwich. You know, you got the two ends of the bread right there, but then you need the meat to go up in there. You need all the ingredients to make a complete sandwich. And otherwise, you just smash it in the bread, and it just feels like that's it. It's just vague. I saw y'all's journey, Eco. Yeah, I mean, y'all saw it. Now, just understand that was 2 years and plus some months of my life out of 50. That was 2 years and some months out of 50. So can you imagine if I showed you, just say 30 years. Imagine if I showed you 30 years of all the different things and all the different movements and stuff like that. That's why I don't have a fear for losing. I don't have a fear for losing it all. Been there, done that. And the crazy part about it that I didn't want to open up, but I'm gonna go there now. Some of my happiest time when I didn't have nothing. Some of my happiest time when I ain't had no credit. Some of my happiest time was when I went through foreclosure and I had to give up the ghost. I didn't have a choice. My backup was against the wall. And when I watched my car get repoed, it hurt. When I watched my classic rides being sold every month for pennies on the dollars, because the things that I'm telling you is what happened to me. People, I had one guy, I remember I had a 73 Buick Riviera. It was a special model. I think they only made like 466 or something like that. It was a stage one Hearst option, 73 boat tail Buick Riviera. I had a crate engine, 455 original motor, one owner, and it had Hearst shifter in there. It was nice. It was weathered, but it was nice. And the guy even had paperwork for every oil change. He had the receipt for when he bought it cash. The guy that owned it, he would buy a car, a truck, and a tractor every year for well over 40 years, I want to say. The guy had maybe 2,200 acres. The guy had freezers in his house full of food. The guy had lean-to pole barns on his property. You could see the tractors. They was all organized from the first tractor all the way down to the last tractor that they bought. You saw the trucks, Chevrolet trucks, GMC trucks lined all the way up. You saw very few cars. He didn't buy a lot of cars. My boat tail was a few. He had some Cadillacs and some other stuff like that. And I shared the story before. Over 2,200 acres. He owned a milling company. And he had a brick home, sit on a nice piece of gated property, but he died. He died and he didn't have a will and didn't have a wife and didn't have no kids. All of his workings and earnings was on that land. All of his results was on that land. And what happened was with this gentleman, because he didn't have no will, it went through probate, and his family got ripped apart going after his possessions that he worked for. His family was at odds. They got into squabbles, and probation took about 7 years. I think I bought that car in 2008, 2009. And he passed in 2001, 2002, somewhere right. Because I saw his sticker on his tag sticker on all his vehicles. He kept all his vehicles. He had an on-site mechanic. I talked to the on-site mechanic and everything. And it got so bad that none of his siblings, none of it went all the way down to they had to find a great nephew from out of state to be the executive of his estate. And I would pass by this place during the time, maybe 3 or 4 years. I would watch this car sit out in the pasture, and I watch it deteriorate. I even seen where the tires were pumped up at one time, and then after a while, the tires went down, the grass grew all up, everything. I always wondered what happened. I wanted that car. I said, man, I really want that car. Man, I really want that car. And it was time where I had money, where I could have offered something. It was time I didn't have no money. I said, well, please don't let them have that car. But one day, I was commuting, and I drove past this property, and I saw the gate open, and I saw a truck or two out there. And somebody had that gate open. And so I slowed down, and I turned in to the driveway. And I spoke to the gentleman, which I found out was his great nephew. And I asked him, would he be interested in selling it? And he told me about what had happened. And I walked with him through the land, and he was trying to get rid of everything he possibly could because he had farmland somewhere out of the Midwest. He was successful. And he says, right now, I'm losing everything trying to be this executive of the estate. And we can't bring this to a close till we liquidate everything. And I wish I had more money at the time because he was giving away trucks and agriculture equipment and all that. But at that time, I was just focused on that one. And I gave him an offer, which was a strong offer. And he told me it was a guy down the road that offered him more than what I offered him. And I said, well, I'm waiting on my paycheck, and I have a remainder of it. I can give you a deposit right now. And he said, the guy already gave me cash in hand. He said, but I told him, let me think about it. So I gave him, he said he gave him the money back. And he said, the reason why he said, let me think about it, because he said, I didn't like that guy. And I felt like, he said, not only that, I remember my uncle talking about him, and he owned a car dealership and junkyard and a bunch of other stuff. And he talked about how he didn't do people right. And he said he remembered his uncle had did business with him a long time ago, and he didn't like it. But he felt compelled to do business because he needed to do it, but he said he didn't want to. So he told him, give me 24 hours, let me think about it. And just so happened, Eco slid right on in there. It just so happened that I had some money at the time in the right place in the right time. And I'm telling you this story. I'm telling this story because it was something I waited for years, something I kind of saved for, waited for the right opportunity. I always looked out. I would intentionally go through that route. I could have went a different route plenty of times, but I wanted to just find that time where I could just catch somebody there that I could maybe get an opportunity to get that boat tail, that Buick Riviera. And I just was hoping I could get that window of opportunity. And it took years of consistency, patience, not giving up, and always looking over to the side by the road. And then fast forwarded, that car, I ended up having to sell it on eBay during the time of the recession. And that's all I got to say, times of recession. Even Barrett Jackson wasn't selling cars like he was selling back then. And I felt like I almost gave that car away, but I needed to keep the lights on. I needed to put some food in the pantry. I needed to get some gas so I could create some more opportunity. I need some space between the piling bills and the piling stuff. But the stuff didn't save me, but it did. Because what I spent money on was things that I could let go. And that's my question. What do you want? What's holding you back? What do you want and what's holding you back? That's my question. I want you to ask yourself, what do you want? Put it in the chat what you want, what you really, 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 really want. And then what's holding you back? Because that man did a lot of time and he got a lot of stuff he wanted. And I hope that the stuff was very fulfilling for him. But to watch his family, by the time I picked up their car, I met some of the family members, they was pissed. They were mad, contentious. On times they had a sheriff out there, all kinds of stuff. They were family members, used to meet out there. He said, I remember as a boy, he would fire up the pit and everything, and the family would come on that land, and he had fishing, he had farmland, he had all kinds of stuff. And he remembers sometimes family would get together out there on that land. And he said, to see my family do this right now, it just breaks my heart. He said, I just want to hurry up and do this and get out of here. And I'm just thinking, what do you want? What do you want right now? And what's holding you back? Because this is the thing. It's a thing called time. Time is a blessing from God. But we don't know how much we got. We don't know how much time we had. And wouldn't it be nice to get some of the things you want by turning loose some of the things that's holding you back? Wouldn't it be nice to obtain some of them goals you want by just letting a few things and getting a little uncomfortable and sacrifice and being persistent and focus on some of the things you want just to get a glimmer, just to sit back and look back and enjoy it and enjoy the journey? It makes that thing so precious. But at the same time, be willing enough to give it away at any day, at any time. Charlotte, Urban Gardener, what's going on? I saw your journey, but most people don't want to be uncomfortable. Exactly. I didn't want to be uncomfortable. And probably, I'm not saying factually, but I probably would have delayed it more. Probably if I'd known the hurt, the pain, the torment, the sacrifice, I probably would have delayed it more, which would have probably pushed me away from doing it. But that's what I think is so exciting about life is don't be so focused on the things that could go wrong, the hurdles, the pain, because there's a piece that tap on that joy in your life, to tap on that inner peace and that inner person in your life that brings things in perspective, that slides on those spiritual glasses in your life, and where you get focused in ways you ain't never seen before. And you start changing your whole value system, your whole mindset. You start getting more resilient, more stronger, and you realize that I haven't even tapped into half of my capabilities. I haven't even tapped in a piece of what I could or what I could be. Not even a piece. Let's see. The off the grid trucker, what's going on? Peace and blessing to you. Safe travels, safe travels. God set you up. God set me up in so many ways and so many times. But how could he set me up if I didn't want to let go? I didn't want to turn loose. How could I even see the blessings if I just want to stay what I consumed, what I consider as comfortable. How could I have a 2,300 square foot house in a desirable neighborhood with amenities all around me and with a mortgage, rising insurance, rising taxes, the upkeep, the maintenance, and the income was doing like this, but the cost was doing like this, and my age was doing like this. And the way I had calculated is by the time I get by 65, 67, now in my generation, you really don't retire till you about 70, 71, 72. Then maybe you can start living, maybe 71, 72. And because of my complexion, because of a lot of the food, environment, 75 blessed, 100 blessed, 25 years versus maybe 50 years in exchange. I don't know. I need to let y'all think about that thing. I couldn't have seen this here. I couldn't wake up to the sun rising, sun, the birds, the trees swaying, sunsets, the family gatherings, the growing in the garden, the sitting talking to my wife on the property, sitting on the land, the secret garden, the new home, no maintenance right now. It will be. It's always maintenance. It's corruptible. To all of that, the experience in off-gridding, sitting in an RV in the midst of a tornado and a hurricane and an ice storm, those are memories I won't never forget. But I've done it, moved on. What's next? I don't know what's next. But right now it's maintaining stability and enjoying the hard work, enjoying the labor right now. Right now is a place of we're at a cruising altitude. I don't know how long we're gonna cruise, but we're gonna cruise for a little bit. Maintain the stability, right? But I wouldn't have been able to see that if I wouldn't have did that. And if I go a step further, before the house, the 2,300 square foot house downtown, doing this and doing that, the apartment. The apartment was a good apartment, center of everything, center of this, center of that. But I wouldn't been able to see the house if I wouldn't been willing to let go of the apartment. Y'all see what I'm saying? I wouldn't been able to see the apartment if I just would have laid down when I lost everything at the house. I wouldn't been able to see me getting at a nice apartment, nice community, great school system, great accessibility, happy times, growing on my patio. I wouldn't have been able to see none of that if I stayed there with I give up. Here I is, I lost everything I worked for the last 20 plus years, and I just give up. It shouldn't be so. We got to keep moving, y'all. We got to keep pushing forward. And my question, I'm going to keep asking because I want to know, what do you want and what's holding you back? What's up, Kathy B? Well, this is the thing. The stories, we all got them. But I hope the whole purpose of sharing some of these things is to get you to maybe take a look at your life and say, I feel stronger. I feel more determined to get that retirement, to get that division of the land, to get that water, to get the septic. I feel more motivated. I feel inspired to go do it. That's the whole point of sharing it, to motivate you, to light a fire, to encourage you to think about these things, you know. Let's see. I don't want to do that. I don't want to mess up the name, but I'm gonna say 509. What's going on? Bless up, bless up, bless up. Yeah, I don't want to mess that up. Love, land, peace of mind, better relationship with God, a garden, etc. That is obtainable. That is doable. And a lot of times, once you get that place, this is the crazy thing. When you get land, there's so many things that's why I want us to stop shifting so much on money, 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 because I can't explain to you about freedom, peace. I can't explain to you about being free to think and be creative and to be at peace with it. That separation from distractions. I remember I would go in my backyard. Sometimes I would get off early just to do some videos that I really thought was really, really good, and they didn't do nothing. But I would go because I know by the time I got home, everybody would be at home. The bus, the cars, the ambulance, the people talking, the horns blowing, the sirens, the motorcycles, the loud trucks. So I would take some time to let me get home probably about around 1:30, 2 o'clock. Let me go out here in my garden in my backyard. Let me do some video. And it just so happened that that's the day that made one of my neighbors get off early. And I'm like, but land, on the other hand, I can be close to the road, which don't get a fraction of the piece of traffic, but it's a pretty busy road to be a dirt rural road. It's definitely a lifeline to a lot of other roads. But I could go further back and not be distracted. You're gonna hear them because in the country, sound travels a lot. It could be somebody acres away from you and you can almost hear the whole conversation, especially if they're talking loud and you think they're maybe some feet from you. But that sense of peace, that relaxation, it's encouraging. Having space, having you organize and putting your pot, your seating, your flowers, your garden, trimming trees and creating a habitat that's catered and that's developed by you. This gives me sense, this color, this fragrance, all of that. You get to do that. You get to put it there and don't get questioned and don't get asked. And you get to sit there without no interruption other than family members and do that. Or, if you can arrange where you can just cut everything off. I'm holding me back. Don't we know how to say no to family? So I am always sending money. Well, you have a knowledge. I mean, that's the first step. Acknowledging what's holding you back. And you're not by yourself. Most of everything that I lack is because of me. It had nothing to do with nobody else around me. It's me. And this is not me just talking to you, but it's talking to myself. What's holding me back? Me. I'm my first step. Good eats. What's going on? Let's see. Family Man says, I want to be free. I want to free my wife and I from jobs. What's holding me back? Me. I'm getting us in position though. This info helps me a lot. I appreciate that. I'm glad it does. That's the whole goal, was to encourage and to build you up and strengthen you to keep staying focused and to keep pushing on, family man. You can do it, and it may cause for sacrifice, uncomfortability on not just your part, but the wife part as well. And if you all are of the like mind, the like mindset, like goals, it can be obtainable. If you might have different goals or different um, obligations or different things like that, it make it be challenging. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you two want and desire the same thing and be consistent and be persistent and just stay on top of it and stay focused, you can achieve those things without a doubt. Man, look at my brother. Man, I miss you, brother. Good to see you. Ask the law, man. What's going on, man? Yeah. Hope everything's going well, man. Hope you're enjoying yourself. Many blessings to you. Many blessings to you. Be safe out there too. Ask the law, man. Thank you for sharing your journey and for your transparency. Good Eats Homestead. No problem. I mean, at the end of the day, it's gonna come out anyway, the way I look at it. But life is not easy. Life is not hard sometimes, but it can be obtainable. The hardness in life builds character. The hardness in life helps with your endurance and resilience. Like when I used to work in the medical community, and I used to have patients that I used to administer to. Not as a doctor or anything like that. I was nothing. I was a technician. I'm not gonna say nothing, but I was a technician, a respiratory tech. And when I used to do a lot of change outs and servicing the patient and stuff like that, adjusting equipment and all that, one woman told me, and I still to this day won't forget. She said, "It takes strength getting old. It takes strength getting older." And every day I keep replaying it in my head sometimes when I kind of get a little down, a little dismayed, or when my body not quite acting right. I say it takes strength. It takes strength to get older. Charlotte Urban God, thank you so much. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Many blessings to you, and thank you for your support. And it just keep allowing and encouraging, and we all need encouragement to keep pushing on. And we all agree you need revenue. You need revenue to keep things going. So thank you. Thank you for helping keeping things flowing. Ant, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's up, Ant for BBQ? African Dream says, "Hey everybody, working and listening. Hello, hello to you too. And take your time, man. Safety first too. Always working, man. Continue to stay blessed, man. It's a blessing to be able to work. I see Tree. Season Tree got the T's in the chat. Still not too late. Put some T's in the chat. What's up, beautifuls? Man, miss y'all. Love you. Good to see you. Let's see. Growing What I Eat says, inspired to hear and see your journey. Look, we all got a story. We all got a journey, y'all. The key is not giving up and not getting dismayed, you know. Things gonna slow down sometimes, things gonna speed up. You'll be like, what the heck? How in the world that happened? Then you just be grateful. Keep pushing on. But we have these stories to what? Help each other out, to encourage one another. You don't get surplus to sit and let it rot. You don't have overflow to let it just run over when people are thirsty, when people need. You get abundance to distribute it. The reason you go through what you get it, so you can obtain wisdom to know how to rightfully distribute it. The reason why you want to gain adversities in your life, to gain knowledge. Knowledge produces wisdom. Wisdom comes from the creator up above, right? So you want to make sure that you create an ecosystem of developing, cultivating growth in your life, working in your purpose, living in your purpose. By the way, y'all check it out on Amazon, True Living, Cultivate Your Purpose. That is a guidebook by yours truly. It's not replacing the great book of life, but what it is, it's just a tool that I use And I collected all the things I went through to help me find my purpose. And when I found my purpose, it gave me a more understanding of my adversities that I went through, the good parts as well as the challenging parts. So y'all check it out. Check it out. Let's see. Hey, yeah. Miss you too, miss y'all, fam. Yeah, number safety, blessings and safety always. Look at that. Finally, I made it to the end of the chat, and you finally made it to the end of the live, right? So I just want to encourage you all, to continue this journey we call life. Continue to be great. And before we head out of here, I want to share some shit. What's up, growing what I eat, man? I appreciate that. Look at that. Look at that. I appreciate that. I'm going to share something with you. One more little story. I shared this story before, but I was motivated and inspired to share this, and I'm going to give you the short remix version of this. I asked myself, what's holding me back? What's holding me back, and what do I want? And one thing that I vowed to try to wrap my brain around, because my grandmother came from a different generation than I came from. But my grandmother was a single woman who had multiple kids. She grew up just as the transition went from sharecropping, and the popular thing for my melanated queen to do at that time would be cleaning. So she did house cleaning, but she also worked with the family. They had a little country store in a little town, the little country store. And I still sit in I'm in awe by my grandmother and what she did and what she did, which just blows my mind. You know what I'm saying? The strength she had and the persistence she had. My grandmama used to work 7 days a week. 7 days a week. She lived in a beat up, rundown, but clean mobile home that was pieced together by multiple mobile homes. She lived directly across the street from her boss and his family. They lived on a piece of property that was multiple pieces of property, right? Across the road, it was a dirt road. Across the road was the store between their house and my grandmother's home. And where she lived at, right? Gardening is great. What's going on? She would walk before daylight, cross the street. And I would hear her feet shuffle because we lived in a trailer right next to her trailer. And the windows be cracked in the summertime, and I could hear her shuffling her feet across the road with her apron on. I couldn't see her, but I knew she had like a scarf over her head, bandana or whatever over her head, and an apron around. And it kind of reminded me of that Tom and Jerry. You know that woman that was in Tom and Jerry? Thomas! That's kind of how my grandmama was, you know what I'm saying? But she would shuffle her feet, and she would go before the daylight, and she would go into the house and start preparing breakfast for the family. And she would get breakfast going, cut on all the lights, open up the store, the little country store, come out of the house, cut on the lights to the country store, get everything ready for the store, move everything out the way, line everything up, pull everything out of the store, the baskets, the fruit baskets or the vegetables, whatever was in season. And she would go unlock the deep freezers and all that good stuff. And then she'd come back in and finish breakfast up. And she would go in there and cook the breakfast, finish the breakfast, and feed everybody, get everybody up out the bed. Time to get out the bed, she'd pretty much go ahead and fix the bed, make up the beds, and all of that. And it was probably about like maybe 4 or 5 people in that one house, and she would take care of them and make sure they had what they need. And once they settle, they straight and they sit at the table. And people from the other houses would come, family members, they would come and they would sit at that one table and they would eat breakfast together. They would fellowship in the morning. Every single morning, this was a ritual, every single morning. And then she would come down those steps out the house and go in the store. And by that time, so cars would be pulling up and daylight would be up and cars would be pulling up. And when the cars pull up, she would shuffle her feet and go in there and service the customers with a smile, interact, everybody knew her, whatever. And then by that time, eventually some hours would pass. Maybe some people would come out and help out with the store. And then the store owners would come out of the house and come into the store. And then she would return back into the kitchen to prepare for dinner. They called lunchtime dinner back in the day. So during that time, she would walk up the stairs and she would go, and if she needed a wash, because certain days she would wash, certain days she would hang out clothes and do all of that. But she would go in there, fix dinner, what have you. And then every now and then, especially in the summertime, I would be able to go across the street and then go sit down when everybody sat to eat supper. And they had a little stool in the kitchen. I would sit on the stool on the counter and I would eat what grandmama prepared, and she'll go ahead and serve everybody and get everything served. Then she'll start vacuuming a little bit, dusting a little bit, doing this. Meanwhile, people will call, knock on the door, and say, hey, they wanted only my grandmama to serve them. Because not only she did that, she cleaned fish, she shelled peas, she diced up okra, she picked peppers, they had a garden, they had ducks, they had dogs. She was the hub to that whole system. Now, yeah, there was help, but she still was active doing a majority of the bit. She was the majority of the bit. And 7 days a week, the only time she would take off is when she went to church, and she only went to church maybe once or twice every other month or so. But even when she went to church that morning, she would at least cook breakfast and fix breakfast, and then she'll leave and go to church. But she did that for the majority of my life here on this earth. She did that every single day for the majority of my life, y'all. And I got 15, 20 stories about her. And she took care of each one of them till they died. The man was the last to die. He was told because of his health reasons they were going to cut off his legs. And she went to do just like she normally did, hang out the clothes, and she heard the gun go off, and the guy ended up letting himself go. And she ran in there and she found him. And all them days and all them nights, she worked and she worked. Sometimes she had to, on Thursdays, I remember Thursday, guess who would go and open up the store to let the fish man come in on Thursdays? Because on Friday nights, everybody in the country bought fish. So she worked well past nighttime on Fridays and sometimes Saturdays. But she did it every single day. Her fingers, her hands hurt. She didn't really complain. She would moan and groan, but she didn't complain. But she did that. She did that for a long time. All the way until he passed and things got a little ugly. And I told this story before. His daughter-in-law, the guy that left himself to go, they ended up trying to kick my grandmama off the land, but I shared that before. I'm not even going to go down that way. But I thought about my grandmama. I think about my grandmama quite often, right? She did that every single freaking day, man, and she ain't complained, and that was a way of her life, right? Now, we complain about getting up, going to work. We complain about being aggravated, people, customers, and this and that. And I just remember all what she endured. The rainy days, the cold days, the times in the country we would have freezing temperature and the septic tank would bag up. The pipe would burst. We wouldn't have no water. Sometimes we had no water for days. Sometimes she had to go to the other manual pump and hand pump water and carry water back over just to take a bath in the middle of the night to be there before sun cracked to be able to feed them breakfast. And sometimes she even had to go in the warehouse and prime the pump by candlelight because they kept a little candle in them. My grandmama was my hero. She was one of my heroes. But she's amazing, amazing person. She inspired me, and she continued to inspire me. And hopefully she can inspire you to not give up and not live your life so much for others, but incorporate some of the things you would like to do in your life. I don't know whether that really made her happy, but it definitely made her productive. It definitely made her valuable. It definitely made her needed. And she still wanted money. After all them hours upon hours, she still didn't have enough. She still craved for more. But I look at the time she spent and the energy she spent with very little reward other than maybe personal satisfaction, which is major to me because I cared about what she wanted. But that's all she knew. She didn't get the chance to travel. This is why I'm bringing it to a close. She didn't get the chance to travel. She didn't get a lot of time to spend with her kids, her grandkids. Later on in her life, as her health declined, she spent more time she ever spent watching what she wanted to watch on TV because we would watch between her cleaning The Days of Our Lives, sometimes General Hospital and some other stuff. And I remember they would call her every time she get into the show. Not like she's getting over on nobody, but they just so happen to have something that they needed at the time when she get deep off into it. And it pisses me off now to think about it because that goes back to what I'm telling you, ain't nothing wrong with walking, taking a break at work when you feel like you're being overwhelmed. Nothing wrong with stepping out. Nothing wrong with walking around the parking lot, taking some fresh air in. Right now, it may be 30 minutes early. Nothing wrong with asking, hey, I want to take an early lunch. Let me withdraw right now. Let me unplug right now. Because I don't want nobody to go through what my grandmama went through. And you live your whole life until you work yourself where you can't even hardly move no more. You can't even lift your head up or raise your arm up because your ankle's swollen, your wrist swollen. You got pain and you got gout and you got all these aches and pains where you can't even enjoy what's really important, what you work so hard for your family. So I'm not saying walk away completely from everything, but what I am trying to say is balance, y'all. And if people don't respect your balance, yeah, well, the sun don't shine. Because I would rather have little and be blessed and enjoy my days than have bounty and be stressed and let time pass me by. To let every single day, I wanted to go see my grandson graduate. I wanted to go see my daughter, my son play a game. I wanted this time will fly by you. I wanted to hold my baby in the middle of the day. I wanted to just take a nap with my child sometimes. I wanted to take my child to the park. I wanted to have a play date. I wanted to have a nice sit down relaxation with my companion, my wife, my husband. Don't let these days keep rolling by where you put so much value on not being broke. Like I said, take money to do stuff, but play hard and work hard. And balance your days. Because I'm telling you, my friend, these days, they fleet. They are fleeting days. They fly by so fast. And they say once we have made that transition, all we got left are memories. don't have memories of you clocking in or you putting paper towels over the toilet at your job because of your coworker just blowed it up. Don't not use your time, your sick days for your child or your loved one, and then end up using it for yourself because somebody came to work sick because they don't respect their coworkers, even though you do. Don't be at the point where you keep saying, okay, I stay a little bit late, I stay a little bit late, and then your child is waiting and sitting, or your companion is sitting at an empty house waiting. Just think about these things, y'all. Think about what you're going through. Think about the balance of life, and just understand there's more important stuff than stuff. You are more valuable than stuff. You're here for a purpose. You're here for the shaping and manifestation of greatness. In order for you to live in that greatness, you got to do it, and you got to exhibit, and you got to utilize your ideas, your creativity, and your dreams. So y'all continue to be well, continue to be blessed. And you already know, whatever you do, make sure that you don't forget to keep on growing. Grow. Don't feel guilty about taking care of yourself, y'all. Stay blessed. Love you.